This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by The Ben Heck Show. Take Dungeons & Dragons and mix in some Magic the Gathering, and you've got the Dungeon Command board game.
As many of you know who watch this show, we all met playing Dungeons & Dragons.
Bam.
And we all love Magic the Gathering. So it is
Bam.
with great excitement that we're going to talk about a brand new version of Dungeons & Dragons that is kind of a mashup of those two things. What if Dungeons & Dragons met Magic the Gathering in a steamy club and they met eye to eye and they couldn't stop looking at each other? And sorry, that's my fan fiction that I've been working on. This is called Dungeon Command or Dungeon Commander?
Commander, I think.
Commander, and maybe Command. Good memory. I get too swept up in the romantic interlude stuff. Anyway, these are single pack modular things that you can buy, kind of like you would buy a Magic deck. So you just buy your own pack. They actually give you rules where you can use one pack and have two people play it, but they're really made to have each person get their own pack. And they're duels. There's shorter Dungeons & Dragons based duels. We played with two packs, the Sting of Lolth, which was sort of a spider-centric characters, and Heart of Cormyr, which was the dragons. And they are miniatures, like you would play with a Dungeons & Dragons game. And in fact, the miniatures are made to be used in D&D as well. And cards, so it's this hybrid of miniature. You build a dungeon on your table, move your miniatures around it. But you've also got cards; they all correspond to cards, and you're playing cards in order to do certain things. So then you get to choose one of two commanders. You're playing a dungeon commander. This is sort of like Dungeons & Dragons meets Magic.
Yeah.
Basically. And so it's like you're gonna duel with miniatures and cards. So you get to choose which commander you want. You get 13 miniatures in each box.
Cool. Oh my lord.
And they actually are made to also work as Dungeons & Dragons.
Well, of course.
Holy poop. This is the game that I think I might have been waiting for this whole time with Magic and Dungeons & Dragons.
Well, I'll tell you what. It makes me want them to use this exact mechanic for superheroes. Because I think that would be fucking awesome. Take your boards and fit them together with each other to form. You're gonna decide if you want to do outdoors or indoors, in a dungeon or outside.
Dungeon, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Dungeons and Dragons.
And so
It's
we
also
need
outsides
to
and monsters.
we're missing. Oh yeah. Right.
You're the commanders, and you're gonna have your minions attack each other. What you're trying to do, your life is represented by morale. So you're trying to keep the morale of your team up. If your morale goes to 0, you lose, game over. Just like in Magic, you will be deploying guys, miniatures onto the battlefield, but you can only deploy them if you have them in your hand. They have hit points, obviously, you know what that is. They have range damage and melee damage. Everybody has melee damage, but some guys also have range damage. You start with a leadership of 7. That's gonna go up as the game progresses, but basically that means you have 7 points of levels to divvy up in
So
guys.
you could do these two, but not these two.
Exactly, you could do these 3.
Right.
Because you got 7, right? So they have to be in your hand and you have to be able to afford them leadership-wise.
Yeah.
This is a standard action, so you only get one of those per dude. And it requires intelligence. It's got the int symbol on the order. So that means you can only deploy it to dudes who have intelligence as an attribute.
Got it.
Once Dan does something, you have a chance to
Counter, then he has a counter, then I have
and
a
continue
counter.
until
Right.
nobody's done.
And then we resolve
And it
it.
stacks
Yeah.
so that the last thing that happens first. What you'll do, like Magic, is you'll have these guys in front of you, you'll activate a dude, and you'll have to, certain things that they can do, you have to tap your guys, just like in Magic, and you'll untap them. You untap them at the beginning of your turn, but you also untap them in the middle of your turn so that they can react to other people. Spider!
Spiders.
So what do you got? You got a giant spider.
Giant spider. He's a beast and he's a spider.
You are dressed like Spider-Man.
I am dressed like Spider-Man.
You're wearing
level
the
3.
colors.
I was thinking more Superman, but
Yeah, I was going for Superman.
Are you just doing the one guy? Because you can do up to 7 points of dudes.
Correct.
Okay, so you got the one. So now you can put your starting dudes.
Yeah.
All right, so Dan has an elf archer and a half orc thug, totaling 4 levels of dude. Your dudes have a burrow that can go under walls.
Oh wow.
And your dudes have a flying. They can't go over walls, but they can go over hazards of terrain without getting anything bad.
Glad we're not outside. Okay, so this guy does 7. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
I like the fact that this is the cool thing about this in contrast to Magic is like, I'm gonna put this card out of my hand. Oh wait, I wanna get this 3-dimensional physical representation of that awesome thing.
I'm gonna do a Shadow Mastiff.
Oh, that sounds like a...
When deploying this creature, you can place it in any unoccupied square adjacent to a wall.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
Right there at the wall.
I'm going to use a minor action, web, and I'm going to web this guy.
Oh boy. Shove aside. Slide 1 adjacent creature 3 squares.
Okay, and then before that happens, I will do.
It's happening.
Okay, hold on.
It's happening! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This person is going to shoot.
Oh.
Oh, well. All right, shoot it
for
up.
10.
10, boom. You're not doing anything to... That's a 50.
That's 50.
And use Piercing Strike, which is a melee attack that deals 10 damage. Damage from this attack cannot be prevented.
Can't be prevented. Don't prevent it. So 10
I did
damage.
10. Oh, wait, my archer?
Yes.
And with that...
Yes.
Oh, you smacked him
I'll
down?
take my web back, thank ya.
Wowie, wee wow.
I will attack, swing, 20 points of damage.
Oh, look at that thing. That is rad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look, how
look at
awesome
mine,
it's
look
gonna
at
be.
mine,
Look
it's so
look how
awesome.
awesome it's gonna be when I go. Oh!
Your guy
shit.
fell over.
Oh, yeah, because he arsh, and like, you know, it was
It's
awesome.
all right, I use my confusing gaze.
So it's this really interesting mashup. Alex.
Yeah.
Love the D&D. Love the Magic.
Yep.
Tell me what you thought. Is this a effective mashup or is it less than the sum of its parts?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. The thing that I missed was the rolling.
There's no dice.
There's no dice. No dice. And the thing that I love about D&D is the dice. I kind of wish that they had that element of my guy's attacking your guy, and rather than doing cards, which was sort of like very much Magic, that it was actually a roll and you could buff your defense or buff your attack, you know what I mean? Just to get that last little flavor of D&D. But it's a very interesting game. I really enjoyed it. It was fun because one of the things that I love about D&D is the strategic movement of your characters inside and around a battle. And you get that.
It's just that. It's distilled.
It's just that, yeah. And I feel like they went a little too far into the Magic world where it's now just sort of cards and I'm doing the thing where I get in a position and then I just attack, you know what I mean? And then it just becomes a card game kind of a thing, which is okay. I mean, I did really enjoy it. I just wish that it was more like head-to-head miniature D&D game.
Rules, yeah.
Rules.
Yeah.
But that really is just a sort of a gripe. I mean, it's not even, it's just a little, little thorn in my side. But other than that, it was fun. It was great because you have cards that then show more about the miniature. Whereas in the game, D&D, you have like the miniature, and then if it's your character, you kind of have like the guidebook's picture of the person, you know what I mean? But really it's, you have to kind of fill in your own thing. But with this, it's like each card has a miniature, and you put the miniature down, and you got the card, you got the miniature. And it flows very well.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I mean, it's really fun to kind of like try to out-strategize another human being, not just the DM.
Right. Dan.
I feel similar to Alex. I thought this game was great.
And I think it's a skosh less impressive when you think of it as an amped up Magic kind of game, but I think it really is what I've been waiting for, and way more impressive.
You used to talk about all the time. You're like, I just want to get to the battles.
When you think of it like when you think of it more as a amped up Dungeons and Dragons session, and because for many reasons that Alex said, like, in Dungeons and Dragons, it's so much is already left up to the imagination. You want what you're doing to represent more of what you're thinking about, and this scratches that itch in terms of, like you said, the characters. The miniature isn't like, oh, well, this is the miniature that we have at the moment, so that's going to be your guy. And you're in a room full of deadly spiders. Well, here's a dragon, that's a spider, and here's a little golem guy, he's going to be a spider. And okay, but it's all spiders.
He's talking about our sort of jinx.
Well, sure.
So a lot of people out there are like, we never do that.
Yeah. No one's got every specific thing for everything that comes up in all the quests. So I love, and the dungeon is like
caps of dwarves.
And the map itself is a sheet that you drew lines on or whatever. And this is exactly the terrain. This is exactly what you're dealing with. I think that's spectacular, and it's what I've always wanted in a Dungeons and Dragons session. And but like Alex too, I think, whereas you mentioned missing the dice roll, I think the only secret sauce that this is missing, and it's not really a flaw of the game, which is something that would be more up my alley, and I think Alex too, is some sort of spice on the gameplay, whether it's a mechanic that we've seen in Cutthroat Caverns where you both play, I'm not saying this would work specifically with this, but this kind of thing where you play your cards face down and then you reveal, oh, that's what happened. Like there's some sort of some sort of surprise, which is what dice brings you as well.
Yeah.
Some sort of surprise to, oh, there's this other thing happening in the game that makes it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I think you guys are both asking for that chance element, and I think that one of the goals of the design of this game was to take out the chance and have it really be a strategy game of a duel between two people who have tactical,
which is cool.
Which is very cool.
It's almost it's a turn-based strategy.
But the one thing it doesn't, I mean, it is definitely the paradigm of Magic in the sense that you are this commander who is dispatching monsters onto the field. So there isn't any role playing per se, and that's a big part of D&D as well that's missing here.
Yeah.
But in order, to have this hour-long experience rather than 7 hours of D&D like we usually have, I like that. It is what I've always wished for from Magic, which is, God, I wish there was a physical 3-dimensional version of this awesome card that I could move around.
Yeah, right.
And then from D&D, I wish I had cool commands to give. I mean, you always do in D&D have awesome spells and things,
but a lot of times you end up just like, I shoot my arrow.
Yeah.
Next turn.
I smack him with my thing.
All right, I guess I'll whack him in the face again.
And here there's so much more tactical options. And so it's a really awesome hybrid. The art is really high quality. The components are super high quality. I anticipate there's going to be lots of different versions that keep coming out if it's successful. And so you'll, like Magic, you'll be able to have your green deck or your black deck. But
the other thing
equivalent
is,
here.
I think that there is an easy opportunity for somebody who's a D&D nut to go in and do an alt rules version of this game that does include dice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a no-brainer.
It'd probably take half a minute to figure out, like, well,
but a good half a minute.
I think if you're like, when I was a kid and I wanted to play D&D and I didn't have any friends I had like 1 or 2 friends, but no one. What's a DM? Who's the guy who knows the most about it? So I used to play Hero Quest. I think this now is the perfect thing. Is it? I think, It's if you are interested in D&D and you don't know anyone but you have one friend or whatever.
It's also a great intro to D&D to where you get into, oh, this is really fun. I like the themes and the sort of style. And then if you have somebody you can go to a game. I mean, there's so many nowadays. There's so many different game stores you can just go wander into and go, I want to try D&D, and they will be more than happy to sit you down and get you hooked on the crack. That then you will pay them hundreds of dollars for stuff.
I think I was thinking of Hero Escape, by the way. Anyway, that's our. I think it's all a recommend from us.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this, but first we want to thank our sponsor, The Ben Heck Show. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. Ooh. Be sure to watch new episodes of The Ben Heck Show right here every 2 weeks, revision3.com/TBHS. In the latest episode of The Ben Heck Show, in a throwback to the 80s, which we all love.
I remember those years.
Ben built
Barely, I was very
a
young.
pocket basic computer complete with keyboard and screen. Because who doesn't need one of those on the go?
So that you can do print,
Yeah.
Jeff rules, go to 10.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, go
It's
to 10.
basically an iPhone. Don't forget to go to element14.com/TBHS to find out how you can enter to win Ben's Pocket Basic computer, as well as other builds from the Ben Heck Show. And make sure to get your backgrounds in, everybody. Fans Totally Rad Show.
Oh yeah, you want to do that.
We will see you tomorrow.
Check us out tomorrow for Rad Rebus.
Today's Twitter question sent in with the hashtag TRSQ from Elizabeth Canvin at Cheap Milkshakes
Ooh, that's my favorite kind of
on
milkshakes.
Twitter.
I like high quality milkshakes that cost money.
She didn't say they weren't.
That's true.
This is an older tweet, but she says, Father's Day here in Australia, so which TV dad would you want as your father, and why?
Interesting. I think we have to say, obviously, to our fathers who may be watching, this is just a hypothetical because my dad's awesome and I would stick with that.
Right.
But
and they're not on TV, so they're not even in the running.
Yeah, but that side, you know,
I think
Mr. Seaver is pretty high on that list.
That was
He's a
literally the
nice,
first.
It's the first guy that popped in my head, too.
Although
but
Cosby,
Cosby's awesome.
it'd be great.
You guys are missing,
with the fizzle fast line,
mean,
we'd always have
you guys are
delicious
missing
hoagies.
something glorious here.
What is the glorious that I'm missing?
Clearly the dad from Silver Spoons, because he'll put a silver spoon in your mouth.
That is actually
That
true.
is shallow.
Way to be shallow.
Dan.
He was a great
Yeah.
dad, too.
I want to.
And he had a hot girlfriend. I had such a crush on her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was just his girlfriend? Right.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because
because that would be too weird to have. She
a
was
young
stepmom.
trophy wife. Which
Why
is what
is
it would
weird
be.
if she was a
I don't
stepmom?
know.
Anyway.
It's less weird.
But you're right. You're right.
I already committed
You're
to
right.
it.
Silver Spoons wins.
Yeah, Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons wins because you get a tiny
Thank you,
train to
Chipmunk.
ride around on.
I don't know why I just said chipmunk. Cheap milkshake.
Father into wealth.